Hello there, welcome back to my channel, Snips by Kelly. I'm Kelly and I'm excited that you're here tonight for a gorgeous single page layout with a focal photo. We're using brand new product. This is the last of the Bridge product from Close to My Heart. Bridge product means that it's close to my heart designed, Stampin' Up, purchased and sold, and it is an extra large gorgeous collection. So in this collection comes the Secret Garden standalone thin cuts that make gorgeous layered flowers. We're going to use those on tonight's layout, but just look at the detail and how many dies you get in that thin cut set. It also includes an additional Stampin' Thin Cut set that is equally as gorgeous. It has sentiments and flowers with great detail in the stamp. That's called the Secret Garden Scrapbooking Stampin' Thin Cut. So you have standalone Secret Garden Thin Cuts that create layered flowers, and then you also have coordinating Stampin' Thin Cut Secret Garden that creates gorgeous flowers as well. There are dots that come with the collection, as well as photo place card holders. Now, along with this collection comes full colored pre-printed instructions to make a gorgeous 6-page layout. Now, you can pull this out, create those six pages, that workshop, or you can create alternative projects just like I do. It comes with two-toned white core cardstock, some additional sheets, but it also has my personal favorite, the coordinating cardstock pack, which has a crisscross wash pattern on one side and a dot wash pattern on the other side in the coordinating colors of peach, periwinkle, pine, honey butter, and glacier, and it's gorgeous. In fact, I grabbed up extras of that to make lots of other projects with. It of course comes with a beautiful sticker sheet, which has great title opportunities, some tabs, lots of beautiful stickers, and then it is an extra large pattern paper pack. So 4 colors of repeated patterns, 4 colors of repeated patterns again, and then gorgeous large florals that have different colors on the front and the back. Absolutely gorgeous. 4 colors of those as well. So you have honey butter, you have peach, you have glacier, and you have periwinkle of all of those patterns. And they repeat, and it's an extra large paper pack. I love the stickers, and the sticker perfect is what drew me to it. I'm actually only going to use the standalone Secret Garden Thin Cuts. I'm going to use the paper pack and sticker sheet and the coordinating cardstock. So these are my lifelong friends that have been my friends from 46 to 50 years. From left to right, we have Nancy, Chris, Debbie, myself, and Debbie. And in our outfits, we didn't mean to do it, but we have a ton of glacier. Nancy has glacier stripes. Chris has a glacier jumper. Debbie has a glacier necklace, even though her dress is white and black. I have glacier interspersed in a floral top, and then Debbie actually has a glacier top, and it's a combination of glacier and Seabrook probably. And then in the background we have honey butter sunflowers, we have a little bit of lavenders and purples that is going to tie in with the periwinkle, and then of course we have some great greens that will tie in with the pine and the sage. So I was thinking about a background of either the glacier dot or the large gorgeous floral. So I go back and forth, and I can't quite decide if I want the floral in the back or the glacier dot in the back, and I do end up going with the large floral, glacier floral in the back. Now, this is our 40th high school reunion that was this last weekend. So yes, you can do the math, but I have been friends with who we call Little Debbie. Both Debbies are little, but we've always called Little Debbie. She is the one on the farthest right in the photo, and I have been friends with her since kindergarten. The other 3 I've been friends with since 7th grade. So from 46 to 50 years of friendship, and we're celebrating our high school graduation. So I am thinking about doing these layers, and I'm deciding that I want a really pop of a solid color behind it, and that I think I'm going with the Glacier dot coordinating cardstock and maybe putting black behind it or pine behind it. I totally changed my mind on the Glacier dot, and I flip it over to the other side, to the crisscross side, because of the crisscross pattern in Chris's jumpsuit, my friend Chrissy's jumpsuit. And so I end up going with 12 by 12 large floral in the back. I go with 11 1/8 by 11 1/8 pine. Then 11 by 11 crisscross glacier coordinating cardstock, and then a white, which is 10 3/4 by 10 3/4. So that's a lot of layering. So as you can suspect, I will be gutting. So I gutted the background by cutting from 1 inches all the way around, so 1 inch to 11 inches all the way around, and then I also gutted the coordinating cardstock as well, and that way I don't waste as much of that beautiful pattern. I could have also gutted the pine. I didn't opt to, but I totally could have, and it also helps with the bulk of the layers. So it gives you that layered effect, but if you gut that, it helps reduce a little bit of that bulk, although the bulk doesn't bother me, and it fits wonderfully inside the page protectors. So my photo is 5 by 7, so I'm going to use a 5 1/4 by 7 1/4 photo mat for my 5 by 7 photo. I go ahead and I attach that with regular adhesive. I do end up popping up the pine base of that with foam tape. I'm going to add an additional white piece that is 7 1/2 by 8 inches, and I'm wanting it to be much longer than the photo because I have a lot to say. This is a focal feature special photo, and I have a lot to say about this photo. So right now you're going to see me adhere that with just regular adhesive, and I changed my mind in a little bit, and I actually popped that up on that because I'm going to use a transitional border. Now I do a ton of journaling on some vellum, but before I do add the journaling and I add that piece, I want to make a beautiful background with all of those beautiful patterns in 3 by 3 squares. Now I have used this pattern before. It was a pattern that I created, a pattern that I created when I was the guest designer for Close to My Heart for a workshop collection called 4 Seasons. And I actually created the same workshop for 4 different paper collections, one of each seasons. And this was one of the patterns that I created, and I've actually reduplicated it a couple times, and I've changed it up a little bit, and I love it. So I was trying to decide which patterns, and I end up going with the 2 of the large floral patterns in 3 by 3, one on the Glacier side, one on the Periwinkle side, 2 of the leaf flourish berry patterns, one on the Glacier side and one on the honey butter side, 2 of the crisscross coordinating cardstock, 1 Glacier and 1 honey butter, 1 Glacier dot coordinating cardstock, and 1 of the honey butter leaf pattern. And you'll see me here try to use the pine on the dot side and the crisscross side, and I end up eliminating them. I actually had more than I needed because I wasn't quite sure what I wanted to do. So I play around here trying to decide if I want to offset the honey butter, if I want to use the pine or not, if I want to offset the Glacier. I do use the large floral patterns in the corners, but the beauty of you, if you're recreating this layout later after you've watched this video, is you can change that up. I do end up doing most of my decorating in the corner, the upper left corner and the lower right corner. So I cover up a lot of that pattern. I do like how that pattern is peeking out, but if it bothers you to cover up that beautiful floral, you can do a switcheroo on your patterns. So I actually end up going with Glacier on the top, Glacier on the bottom, Honey Butter on the left, Honey Butter on the right, the two Leaf Flourish berry patterns in the lower left and upper right corners, and the two large floral patterns in the upper left and the lower right corners, and I'm happy with that. So I do my journal typing, and I say a lot, but I type it on vellum because I've always felt like the five of us could have been the perfect woman. So I always wish that I had all the characteristics of all five of us because I felt like we would be the perfect woman. So I saw the word perfect in the sticker sheet in Glacier. We have all the Glacier in our outfits and all the coordinating colors in this gorgeous, gorgeous garden where we had our 40th class reunion. So I decided to put perfect in the back, and the focus of this video is creating unique titles. So I love the concept that the title is dark enough that it shows through all of the journaling on the vellum. So I say about my four friends and the five of us together that 46 to 50 years of friendship, and I still feel like we are the perfect woman. I used to joke that all of us combined have all the qualities that I admire the most. Deb has always been our beauty, not just on the outside, but her heart is a heart for the Lord. Nancy has always kept us together. She's our voice of reason. She's full of logic and wisdom. She would be the one who would have a Band-Aid and a safety pin. Little Debbie is kindness, understanding, and all heart. She's a true testament of love and forgiveness in all that she does. Chrissy brings creativity, humor, and life to every single thing that we do. She fills us up with joy, and of course, she makes us laugh until we cry. I believe that my contribution would be determination and loyalty. I've always been so proud of each of my friends and grateful for the gift of friendship that we've been given in our lifetime. Not everyone has longevity in friendship, and these women have saved me. They have filled me up with the greatest of blessings just by giving themselves to me. It was so fun and continues to be so fun having time with them. We celebrated our 40th class reunion together, and we all look forward, God willing, to 40 or 50 more years together. I laugh when I say that. I doubt if we have that much time, but I'm going to believe it to be true. You never know what God's gift will be. But this was just a couple days ago, July 2024 in Lemon, where we grew up as the LHS class of 1984. We had an extremely close class, so we had extremely good attendance, and we had 4 days of fun, and we had 2 days, and our float won the very first place grand prize in the parade, and we had a wonderful formal dinner. We also had a family barbecue, and so much fun together. So now that I have my journaling over the top of perfect, and I'm envisioning a really unique title there with that peeking through the vellum, I'm looking through my stash for some sort of a transition because it's bothering me that there's a little bit of white that shows in the white background between the photo and the vellum journaling. And so I am looking through my stash, and my first one is a lace border that I think might work. It is a close to my heart from my stash, and it's a little too wide even though it's gorgeous. Then I go with the decorative border Thin Cuts, which if you are a close to my heart groupie or a Snips by Kelly paper crafter, you probably have this. It is Z4241, and it is called decorative border, and I end up going with the decorative border, and because we're using the two-toned honey butter cardstock, I cut the background in light and the foreground in regular true honey butter because our cardstock is two-toned. And so I'm envisioning putting that in there. Now I layer it because it's not long enough. And so I am going to put something over the transition to cover it up. But on the video, I actually forgot. Now, since you know that we've all been friends for 46 to 50 years, you know why I lose my memory. So little Debbie on the way right, she and I have been friends since kindergarten, and the other three I've been friends with since 8th grade. So you know that's why sometimes I lose my train of thought, and I do forget to snip at that little transition area. You'll notice that, and it looks a little wonky in the final video, but I do fix it before I do my promotional photos and my photos that I'm going to share. And so you're going to do a little snipping of that if you're going to recreate that. So I go back and I reprint my vellum to give myself a longer top so that the lace border goes over the top of the vellum and there isn't a chunk of white in between. And I love that so much better. That makes me happy. So here's where I piece together that decorative border. And I know that Stampin' Up! Has tons of things like this. So if you are from Stampin' Up!, you can use any kind of a scallop border that you wish. You could also use a scallop border from your Cricut. That would be great. I'm using my rub eraser, which both Close to My Heart had and Stampin' Up! Does have, to take out some of that adhesive. It's my go-to when I get adhesive in between things and I want to rub the adhesive off. It just takes that adhesive off. So now I'm overlapping those and I'm trimming it off a little bit, but I forget to do a final trim and trim the overlapping area. So when I do a shot, a final video shot here at the end, it still has a bump. And so just keep in mind that I do eventually end up trimming that for my final photos. You just won't see that in the video. And it's not horrible. I do put a sticker over it and it does cover it up mostly, but it has a little bit of a wonky bump that bothers me that I do fix later. So now we're going to take a look at the Secret Garden thin cuts. So I'm going to pull out the layers that actually go together. There's several flowers that have layers and you're going to fall in love. You're absolutely going to fall in love and you're probably going to run to the shop site and grab it immediately because it's absolutely gorgeous. So I cut in Periwinkle the base layer of this and then in light Periwinkle the other layers there, and then I cut a sage leaf for that. And you can see the layers, and then it has a center that I cut in pine. Now there's another flower here that has a really cool little notch in it. So it has a base layer, which I did in regular Glacier, a middle layer that I did in the light Glacier, and then a top layer that I did in Seabrook. And then I did the leaf flourish in Pine, but you can see there's that little notch and you can stick that inner flower into that notch and it looks so cute. Then we have the little twig with the little flowers on it. Now you do have to put each flower, it's one die that cuts all the little flowers that go on top, but you do have to match them up because they are not identical. And then you have a stem here with a rose, and the rose has two layers, which I cut in true Periwinkle and light Periwinkle, and then I did the stem in Pine, and then I made a couple extra leaves out of the Sage and Pine, the leaves and the double leaves and the single leaves, just to have those to work with. So I did layer those together with at least one piece of foam tape between the layers. And then the other pieces were flush, and I want to work with the corner to cover up that extra vellum. So vellum can be tricky to adhere. So you kind of want to think ahead with vellum about the parts that are going to be covered, and you're going to put adhesive on the pieces that are covered up. So I'm going to hug around that journaling and that beautiful story about my wonderful friends, and I'm going to just create my collection cluster around that, and then I'm going to create another cluster up on top. So I work a little bit trying to decide if the periwinkle flower is going to go under or over the photo. Over eventually wins out. And I do want some length. A lot of times when I curve a cluster around something, I like flourishes or something to stretch around the bend. And so you'll see me work here a little bit at trying to get something that I think is going to work to create some length. And it would normally be that way with height, except for we're going sideways. So I'm calling it length, where I'm going to have a few little leaf flourishes come out to the side. And I end up making a couple extra because I feel like I need a little bit of a filler in there. So I do make a couple extra that come out, and then I use the longer one up in the middle there a little bit. And I think that's going to be gorgeous. Aren't those gorgeous? I'm so happy I got them. You know, you just don't really a picture. We got to see a printed picture of these before they went live. We didn't actually get to see them in action and what they did. And nothing speaks louder than trying them out and seeing the depth in them, the layers in them, and how gorgeous they all are together. A picture just doesn't do it justice. I absolutely love everything about them. I'm going to do a full workshop with this collection, and I love that I had this photo to use with this. It just worked out. It was like it was meant to be. This collection was meant to be for the photo. The photo was meant to be for this collection. It couldn't have worked out more perfectly with the colors. So now I'm working on how to cover up that transition. I try the little tab and I end up going with the Best Friends sticker, but here's where I forget to clip the bump off. So you're going to want to do that if you're going to reduplicate this layout. And then I actually end up using the yellow tab up on top instead. So I put the Best Friends there, and then I use the yellow tab on top, and I just add a little journaling that says July of 2024. So we have worked very hard on our friendship over the course of the last 46 to 50 years. We do attend all of our children's special events whenever possible. There's always at least some of us at our each other's children events, if not all of us. So that would have been each other's weddings first, and then each other's children, births of children, and then our children's events like graduations and weddings, and then our, we haven't gotten into grandchildren's things yet, although we do. I'm the only, two of us have grandchildren. Three of us have grandchildren now, but we have attended all of those, and then we work really hard at having girl get-togethers for a variety of reasons. Of course, on decade birthdays, we definitely get together, because all of our birthdays are in the same year because we're the same age. Now I'm finishing it off. I'm getting happy. I'm finishing it off with the Secret Garden dots. But my best advice to my daughter is to pick wisely. Choose your friends wisely when you're young and work hard at it. It isn't always easy, especially in the years of raising children. And then we all had years of struggling through college and being broke and not being able to afford to do very much or to take expensive trips. But then over the years, if you work at finding ways to get together, and also ways to stay connected and phone conversations and things like that, it will be one of the greatest treasures and the greatest gifts of your life. And this fabulous 5 have been a gift sent from above to me. So I have decided to go with all glacier dots, some large, some medium, and some small, and this is a treasure. I love the unique play on the title with the word perfect shining through the vellum. I love the journaling on the vellum. I love the focal photo, and I mostly love each and every woman in that photo, and I will treasure it always. I'm in love love with the Secret Garden collection. I would love to hear what you think, and I have more sneak peeks, not even sneak peeks, because you can get it now. I'll link in the description everything that I used on this layout and how you can get your hands on Secret Garden, and also different bonus programs that I have where you can earn bonuses for shopping on my shop site. Thank you so much for watching. If you've enjoyed this video or you've learned a little something, please give me a thumbs up, hit like, subscribe, share, and shoot me a comment and let me know what you thought. Happy scrapping, everyone. Bye-bye.